Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Full Blast Garage. And on this one, we're gonna start tying up a few loose ends on our 72 Chevelle. We're taking on poverty tour. We got some suspension things we need to look at, accessory drive. We need a hood. We need to glue the trunk together to make it one. So y'all are welcome to follow along while we just try and get this thing a little bit more roadworthy and, ready for, what is it, 3,500 miles, something like that? Who knows, but it's definitely more miles than this thing's seen in like 50 years. So let's put this thing on full blast. Make sure you do it on full blast. All right, back here in the back, I've already wrestled out the old coil springs and shocks. And essentially when you undo the shock from the top and the bottom, you lower the rear axle, you're gonna let enough pressure off the spring to be able to at least pry it out. Or sometimes you literally can just grab it, squeeze a hair, and work this spring out. I've been kind of dealing with some fitment issues with this 3-inch exhaust, just trying to move stuff around. That's kind of why I jumped ahead. I just kind of wanted to be able to, for sure, be able to fit the springs and the shocks before I kind of jumped into everything. I got the exhaust loose right now. I'm gonna, again, put the shocks in, make sure nothing is touching, because you really don't want your exhaust touching the chassis somewhere where it causes like a vibration. That's really annoying, especially like if it rattles. Not the easiest thing to get these guys started. Don't have a whole lot of room. Probably, in hindsight, I'm never normally wrong, but that's a total lie. Hindsight, do your springs and shocks first. I kind of jumped, ahead because I wanted to drive the car. And drop it because I wanted to drive the car. That's why I put the exhaust on, but I'm thinking I'm gonna try from the outside wheel well. All right, we got train going by, of course. On the shocks, you got this kind of stepped bolt. And this guy, you're gonna push through the bushing on the shock. Might ought to spray this. Just wet her down a little bit with some WD. Ugh. Then you're gonna want to put your spacer, and then go ahead and put your bolt through. So I'm gonna have to raise the car, put the wheel back on to lift the axle, unless I can kind of muscle it up. Ugh. Probably not. I'm kind of working against the coil spring here. Never mind. Got it started, just cost me a few vertebrae. So go ahead, get our hardware on, get this thing tightened down, and then we'll move on to the other side. I'm gonna take care of that. We don't have to film that. Train's gone if you can't tell. Maybe I can get this bolt started. Now, I'm gonna have to suck this thing in some, get everything tightened down, and man, I don't think we're hitting on the exhaust anymore. We're tight, but I think I have a tiny bit of room. Definitely gonna have to pull across, like away from the chassis as we tighten this thing down. Hopefully it doesn't suck itself back up where it was, but I think we're okay. So springs, shocks, at least on the rear, we're good. All right, up here up front onto the front shocks, you're gonna wanna install your washer, your rubber grommet, your bushing there. This guy, after test fitting, I had to open up one end to give me some more adjustment so I could slide back and forth. I think I have it opened up enough to be able to get the bolt in, but it's gonna kind of be one of those things we're just gonna have to test fit it. Hopefully one day these big block springs start to loosen up, because they're tight. Probably won't have any issues with weight transfer. Ugh. Kind of working against the pressure of the shock here, and I'm trying to get it lined up perfectly here. Man, this one seems to be more of a fighter. Oh no, I think I locked something. I don't even know how to do that. Yep, I guess there's a lock button on this ratchet. All right, one more time. This time the ratchet won't be locked. Whew. I think it's in there. Probably too tight though. Give us at least a little bit of wiggle room for our other side here. Oh, train crossing. After opening up the bottom shock dog bone a little bit more, realized they have the bolt holes too close to the lower control arm body. So the only way to really tighten it down is with an open end box end, like a quarter turn at a time. Like if they'd have just spaced it in, I mean, just a hair really, because it's just barely touching where you can't get a socket on it. And even the open end box end can be a little bit challenging. But I mean, this is eBay China life, folks. Let me buy it, show you all the problems with it. You decide whether or not it's worth putting on your rig or not. I mean, it's cheap. It's not no QA1, that's for sure, but it seems to work so far. Only some minor inconvenience. I'm gonna keep tightening these guys down, get the bottom shock mounted. Other side's already tightened up. It was actually easy. I did still have to open up the dog bone. We're almost there. We'll be going up top as soon as I finish quarter turning this thing in. All right, for the top of our shock, it's pretty simple. You're gonna want to put your rubber bushing on first. You can kind of move the shock around, get it lined up perfectly. Your washer, your nuts. You don't exactly have to completely smoke this thing home. Just tighten it down till you're getting some squish on your rubber bushing. You're good. So front shock done. I'm going to tackle the other one. You guys don't have to watch that, but I got to go check. A UPS just dropped off a bunch of boxes. Hopefully it's more stuff to work on this car. So I'm going to finish the other shock, go inventory everything, and see what else we got to put on. All right, before I call it a day here, I think I'm going to work on my accessory drive here a minute. I've had some squeaking here and there. Kind of got a feeling might be this idler pulley. I know the tensioner is definitely no good. Man, I'm gonna have to cut this guy off. This is the original idler pulley on this motor. That's pretty cool. And if you are just changing the pulley on your tensioner, that guy's probably gonna be reverse thread, this guy. So just keep that in mind if you guys are actually doing that project. It's gonna be reverse thread. Ask me how I know. Live and you learn. So I'm just gonna get this stuff started by hand. I'm gonna go get something to kind of remove this little washer bolt retainer thing. All right, we'll go ahead and throw our bolt through here, our washer. And the washer kind of fits right in the bore of this pulley. So we're gonna kind of need to hold on to it while we tighten it. All right. Spins free. Next step. Old AC's got to go. We're using electric air compressor on this car, so pray for me. But we need to do a Gen 6 AC delete here. And General Motors, I guess, since they use this truck on, I don't know, maybe stuff that wouldn't get AC, you know, like flatbeds or something, I don't know. Got an AC delete pulley that's not like the goofy one that still sticks up in the same spot. That's kind of worthless. All right, see, we neutral drop it. Works every time until it's not gonna. Oh, that guy was just loose. Oh, it was broke. Well, we had three out of the four holding it on. That was fine. That might have been a belt squeal if that compressor was walking around a little. Get all that junk out of the way. Not the prettiest accessory drive, but all right, can you guys see that GM part number 125-80772? Just a pulley here, and look, what would you have it, your accessory drive, she's already threaded for it. Bang. Let's just hope it wants to go in. And it's the same size. That'd be nice. Oh, yeah. Everything's metric. All right. And of course, We've got a shorter belt, hoping it's correct. We'll see when we start routing it. And these tensioners, they just ain't got a whole lot to them. I remember tensioners kind of having, you know, enough force to them that you really need a wrench to move them around. These guys, you can kind of do it with your hand. Is this belt gonna be too long, not long enough? They said just get the one for your car where it says no smog pump, no AC, and it should be perfect for that part number AC delete kit. We got way too much belt. Do we go, let me think on this, but our belt situation is way too long right now. Let me see how I can change this around, maybe shorten this up a bit. I totally had that thing routed wrong on the first try. So I think I was coming off the water pump and around here. That's not correct. So it's best, I guess, if you start here at the tensioner, wrap around the alternator, under the pulley, over the delete, around power steering, around water pump, then around the crank. Perfect length. Whoever on whatever forum showed that part number and said just get the corresponding belt, you are correct. I don't remember where I found it, but she's perfect now. All tightened up. Tensioner's got a ton of tension on it. The belt, so you shouldn't be able to spin your belt all the way around. Maybe about halfway on these serpentines and you're good. That's an indication your belt's tight. So let's just keep on keeping on, you know, just knocking little tasks out. I almost want to just cut that. I mean, that kind of looks not great, but I mean, it's acceptable on Poverty Tour, that's for sure. All right, so up on top, we need to take our dipstick tube loose from the bell housing so we can raise it. Oh, and get this seal put in. I 100% remember pulling the seal on this transmission. Good Lord, I got these tight. Oh no. I think my transmission just ate my 9/16. All right, I'm gonna go find that. Yeah, that 700 R4 I got out the back of a van in a grocery store parking lot for my 454 SS was not complete, and one of the things that was missing was that dipstick seal. And wow. All right, maybe I won't get this taken off. Good Lord. All right. Pretty sure got her broke loose. Maybe. It did move a second ago. Oh, come on. This is definitely the worst bell housing bolt to access. The dipstick tube, the vacuum line, everything else that's right around it. And I think next time, pull a hood we're just gonna go ahead and take the hinges off too. So I don't know how many times I've almost stabbed myself with these hood hinges. All right, I'll get the bolt out. She's out. I had to climb in there, get some access. And don't everybody, or anyone ever accuse me of not torquing my bell housing bolts, because that had all the ugga-duggas. Now we're just gonna raise it up. We can pull the tube out, jam this, grommet in, and that ought to fix all of our transmission leaks. There's something actively dripping. I'm guessing that's from the transmission. Just moving it around that much. All right, I'm kind of up on my tippy toes here. Oh man, we're hitting somewhere. This thing's got to be able to come out. And if it comes out, hopefully it'll go back in. That would be nice. Huh. I mean, we're right on the cusp. Come on. All right. Probably gonna have to hit it from the top so I can kind of wiggle it and get it out of there. All right, messed with it enough that I got her out. As I suspected, no seal. Seal installed that easily. And now we might have to lower the car back down again to get the tube kind of finagled back in place, because it wasn't super easy to get it out. Had to do some rotating. Oh, maybe some pulling. If I could at least get it going in its home, that would be good. All right, got her stabbed back in there. Only a slightly dirty job, because didn't clean the transmission that great, not gonna lie. It is okay, but last step, don't forget to put your dipstick tube back in. Mine's got the old locking feature on it, hit that. We're good. One less leak, and that should be the only leak. That's the only spot on the whole car that had anything coming out of it, and it was really only kind of splashing out when you were turning or inclined real big. So we got sealed up trans, sealed up engine, and if you got it out, just do it. Might as well. So last thing, I'm gonna work on the starter and the oil dipstick. That's kind of a 2-for-1 job right there. Starter's gotta get dropped, pull the wiring off it, then we'll do dipstick. Dipstick, then put the starter back on. So let's get this thing, it's gotta go way up in the air, because we're gonna be working on it from below the whole time. I have to figure out how to route this dipstick back up and attach it to something, probably the headers. We'll see. All right, dropping the starter. We got two 7/16 bolts, because we're aftermarket AR Peak bolts. And I have just an assortment of wrenches because really can't remember what size the power wire bolt was and the starter wire bolt. So they look pretty small. Is 5/16 gonna do it for the trigger wire? I think it's 3/8. Man. Oh, I got it zip tied. Dang it. Kind of the dance you gotta do here. If I can get one or the other off, I'll be doing well. Oh, I put this on pretty tight. Got one. This is the one I was more concerned about. The starter wire, the trigger wire is pretty loose up here. I got all kinds of slack, but the positive, not so much. All right. Yeah. I could even set this on the lift if I absolutely had to. So neither 3/8 or 5/16 works. How's that possible? So you're telling me there's one nut that's metric. Great. I don't know. Bit of a pickle. All right, let me figure something out. Well, I just ended up yanking it anyways. It needs a new electrical connection anyways, because this guy has essentially one of these that uses the male-female socket type. So that one wasn't gonna need to be used anyways, so just let her hang and dangle a little bit. Now's the time. We're gonna need to get in here, get our dipstick right before we put the starter back on. So let's tackle that. I got the wire ready to go. And hopefully our ARP bolts are, man, I don't know. Wonder if these came with bolts. Let me check. Yeah, the starter came with its own bolts that go back to the original 9/16 size. So the old ARP starter bolts can go back on the shelf for a later date. It's not like we don't have enough big and small block Chevys to deal with. Always missing starter bolts because I can't buy an old car that has a starter installed on it. I don't know if that's just my thing or what, but we're gonna have to move the camera around where I can get at least a little bit of a view of where we're messing with on the dipstick. All right, so definitely not the easiest to see up here. What I'm doing right now, this oil pan has a threaded plug in it. So, got to remove that first. Oil smells, that at least is touching that plug, great. No fuel, that's what we want. All right, so this guy, you can kind of snake it up. Hopefully. Let's see. I'm getting caught on spark plug wires at the very top. That's fun. All right. Definitely gonna have to bend it about right there. This is not gonna be the simplest process. I can tell you right now. But right where I'm holding it, I kind of need to bend it toward the back of the motor. So then I just put a bend in it like that with my knee. Snake her back up, try her again. Not bad. I mean, she's in there. Not in a location it looks like I could bolt it, maybe. Maybe we're not far off from the one header bolt. But that can possibly be fixed with a drill bit. But what we're gonna wanna do down here, we have 2 fittings. So we're gonna want to thread this fitting in, get it tight, get our compression fitting tight. What we're gonna have to do, you got 2 options. You can cut down your dipstick tube until your fill line is perfect, or you can drop her in. We know the oil level is that it's full. Right now we've ran the motor not much, minutes, not hours, and you make your own full line. So that's your 2 options. Cut her down or mark a line. And I'm gonna kind of play it by ear here. I'm gonna tighten this guy down, tighten this compression fitting down on our dipstick to hold it, and then I'm gonna take a look how far off we are. There's a chance this thing might not even be touching the oil, and we're gonna have to do some cutting then, for sure. So tighten the bottom one down, leave the top one loose, because that's what locks your dipstick in. We don't want to do that yet. Well, I don't know if Summit just designed these perfectly in conjunction with a big block Ford, but if you guys can see, she's almost 100% perfectly touching full. And what we're gonna do is when we tighten that compression fitting down, that's gonna suck it down. And I guarantee you that's almost exactly the distance we need. And look at our oil. I know a few of you guys were a little concerned with how the oil looked in the radiator. It's total diarrhea, but it's just dirt. It's filth, it's not oil. So we're not getting any oil contamination in the radiator. When I pop the cap, if we were, there would be a big sheen right when you open the cap in the water there, because the oil weighs less than water, so it would rise to the top. And this car's been sitting for probably a week now without me running it. Pop it, look at your water. If you see a sheen, you got issues, you're in trouble. So we're good. I'm gonna go ahead and put our dipstick back in, and man, the oil looks perfect, like a car that hasn't ran. It's great. It's not all black though, that would scare me. Okay, so we're bolted to the headers up here. A little bit of a unorthodox setup with it kind of pointing to the firewall a hair, but even when the hood's on, you're gonna have this thing's super flexible. You're gonna have way more than enough space to be able to pull it out. And she's mounted up tight, not touching the long tube there. We got just a little bit of space in this tube right here, maybe. But we're good. We've got a dipstick. Now we just got to go under, tighten that compression fitting. We got that job down. We'll work on the starter. All right, I'm gonna work on getting our power wires back on the starter. I should be able to kind of do the trigger wire last, because it's just literally a plug on and you have decent access here. All right. Kind of never know what's going to hit you in the face in this car. when you're under it. Always a surprise. Definitely always have your battery disconnected when you're doing this, or you would have probably electrocuted yourself a few times by now. All right, I think I got it on there well enough where I can get the lock washer and the nut on. I mean, at least this starter is significantly lighter than what we pulled off. Whew, all right, got that started. Grab the wrench, tighten her down, then we'll start bolting it up. Well, she's bolted on. It's not super easy to see. I'm trying to show the distance between the starter here and your flex plate. PowerMaster says you need a 1/16 of an inch. So minimum. So there is no max, just minimum. I can get my finger in here, but not all the way through. So we're definitely more than a 1/16 of an inch. There's a good shot. I mean, we're probably closer to an 1/8 if I had to guess. So I'm gonna just articulate this guy out, look at the engagement, and man, we're probably just about ready to test it. But that's what you want it to look like. All right, we're bolted on. Triggers clicked on there. It's not the most reassuring feeling just having your starter just snapped on there. Let's see what our engagement sounds like here. Man, this could go real bad real quick, but I think from eyeballing everything and pulling the Bendix out, I think we're fine. I think we're within spec without doing any shimming. So, oh, it's a bad thing about these real powerful starters. They can do some damage. And let's go ahead and delete on some of these wires that I've been testing with. That's a different thing. Don't worry about those. So let's see. Please turn over. We might as well just pump her, let it run too. Woo! That thing spins over so fast. It sounded like a video game, like whee! And just went. Awesome. Man, this thing is going to be an absolute animal on the road. I can't wait. Poverty Tour can't come soon enough, but just give me a little bit of time to actually put the car together. But I want to drive it real bad. 60 pounds of oil pressure. One more time, just to make sure she disengaged and everything. Wow. Oh yeah, we're good. Let's get a little exhaust note in before the end of the video. I love this car. This thing's gonna be so fun. Yes. Pretty happy when a good plan comes together. We got a dipstick. We got a starter that sounds like a video game or something. Like, I've never had one of those mini torque starters. I've never needed one because I've never had a custom oil pan on a car. Everything's been, you know, piecing junk together, like, yeah, Monte Carlo or Cadillac DeVille oil pan will work on this, you know. It's never, nothing will work. Buy one of the two that are made that might fit this application. That's not normally my style. I just really, really wanted a roller cam, big block, and without doing the retrofitting and things like that. And this was kind of my option. Had to go custom oil pan, or not custom, but just a one-off type oil pan. It's kind of flat on the front, deep sump in the back to clear the cross member. And then that caused, you know, your dipstick, you can't get it in with a normal size starter. So all these things I kind of been slowly piecing together. It's like the puzzle gets put together and then you pull a few pieces off to keep going. But we're good. We got starter, dipstick. We can tell how much oil's in it and that there's no water in it. And what else did we do? We did shocks, springs in the back, which I don't know. I mean, they seem like compressing them, they got a lot of strength, but they were a tad bit shorter than the springs I took off. So did I actually do anything? That's kind of funny, honestly, but I got cargo springs for the back. So cargo is going in the back. Please don't sack out the suspension and me have to relive driving that Trans Am with the nose in the air all the way halfway across the country. But man, I think we're gonna call it here. This is it. We've got it pretty well mechanically sound. I got the front sway bar, I got a bolt on, a few things here and there, and then man, I'm diving head first into the interior, gauges, air conditioning. I mean, we're gonna make it a car, and then I'm gonna fill some holes, get some windshield wipers, and that's it. I mean, it's about final condition the way it sits. It's not far off. I'm gonna attach, there's an inner and an outer skin on the trunk, and I'm just gonna glue them together with an epoxy. So the trunk will actually do trunk things and not just kind of accordion down the road like that. But I appreciate y'all tuning in to another episode on the Chevelle. I hope y'all guys enjoyed it. And if you could, like, comment, subscribe. Any interaction with the channel helps us out a bunch. We're a tiny, tiny channel, but every time y'all do anything, it gets us in front of more eyes and it helps us grow. And I super appreciate that from everyone that does that. But please come back, watch some more videos on the Chevelle. We're far from done. And until you see me again, just go out, do something that makes you happy, but make sure you're doing it on full blast. I'll see y'all later.